When you think of the words NFL athlete, the first thing that comes to mind isn't exactly bags of candy. However, stuff like that is exactly what seems to make these superstars into the beasts they are. That's right, NFL players don't seem to have the same diet as me or you. I'll make you wait no longer and dive right into it. Here are the top 10 craziest NFL player diets that normal people could simply not survive on. Starting with none other than the Seattle Seahawks' DK Metcalf. His diet seems to be one of the strangest ones out there, as when Mr. Metcalf is not receiving on the field, what he seems to be consuming is rather a mind-boggler. It's said to be that Metcalf consumes nothing but merely one full meal, 3 candy packs, and 1 cup of coffee in a whole day. Geez, I eat more than that when I'm dieting. Nobody knows how someone who weighs well over 200 pounds can keep their figure intact with a diet like that. Imagine eating only candy and still being able to be fit and over 200 pounds. I guess it's one of God's mysteries how he seems to do it. Now, as much as it seems that Metcalf seems to eat next to nothing, the next person on our list seems to eat to fulfill Metcalf's portion as well. Yes, I'm talking about none other than Houston Texans defensive end J.J. Watt. The daily amount of calories that an average human male is required to take is somewhere around 2,500. Now, I'm sure that as soon as J.J. Watt heard that, he said he just had to be above average. J.J. Watt completely surpasses the normal amount of intake with nearly 9,000 calories a day. I don't know how many of you understand how much food that is. So I'll put it into terms you can understand. An egg has 70 calories. So you have to eat nearly 129 eggs a day to reach 9,000 calories. Now, you may be wondering, how does he eat that much food? Well, dear watchers, the answer to that question is simple. He never stops eating. I'm not kidding. The way Watt can eat so many calories is because his diet is high in fatty foods, including lots of meat and avocados, and he reportedly rarely stops eating. Whatever Watt needed to do to be in top form isn't anyone's business, because clearly it worked out for him. Now, when a person gets into weightlifting or athletics and starts going to the gym, they quickly find out that getting enough protein is crucial for muscle building. While most people have trouble fulfilling the required amounts of protein intake, it appears that Steve Weatherford has no trouble consuming an excessive amount. According to some reports, Steve Weatherford consumes nearly 200 grams of protein every day with absolute ease. He not only consumes 4 times as much as the average person, but he also limits his diet to primarily plant-based protein and gushes about how much he adores quinoa. He's also stated that a black bean quinoa burger is his favorite dish. This ridiculous amount of protein intake makes sense when this former Giants punter has been referred to as the strongest player pound for pound on the whole team, which is quite an unbelievable comment considering his position. But even if all of that food makes sense when you see how ripped he is, there's still a lot of lean meat and effort involved. While Weatherford uses excessive meat and protein to maintain his build, it seems that not all of NFL players follow this diet plan. A perfect example of this is none other than the people's favorite, Tom Brady. Although some people may not consider Tom's diet to be crazy, they definitely might find it to be a bit strange, even for a football player. The 4 Super Bowl rings owner has had a pretty wild life, and to match that, he has a diet planned accordingly. You may have even heard more about his diet rather than any other NFL player, as it became somewhat of a trend recently. However, not everyone's a fan of it. Brady's diet is extremely limited, with a concentration on a plant-based diet rather than a lot of meat and calories like other NFL players. The all-time favorite quarterback cuts out all white flour and sugar, caffeine, dairy, MSG, iodized salt, tomatoes, peppers, mushrooms, eggplants, and even fruit. Some people are wondering, what can he even eat? Brady reportedly refuses to eat tomatoes because the diet is so strict. Although the entire process is meant to be quite scientific and stuff, most people find it to be a little weird. Many have criticized him and his wife Giselle for being too strict with what they eat. The reason behind this is that the player's diet consists of nearly 80% vegetables and whole grains, while the rest, 20%, consist of lean meats. While Brady's diet is very healthy and scientific, the complete opposite could be said for this next NFL player. And Matt Khalil's daily menu is incredibly unhealthy. The former offensive tackle was a monster, which may or may not surprise anyone who's familiar with the diets of athletes in his position. Khalil must consume a lot of calories, and he's content to do so by indulging in a lot of junk food. Khalil, of course, helps make up some of those calories with dense protein shakes. But shoving pizza and burgers down seems to make Khalil just as happy. Okay, this seems more like my type of diet. No one can really say anything to him, as eating almost 3 times the daily amount of food of an adult man can't be easy. The next NFL player with a curious diet is Nick Hardwick, who stood out from many of his peers because of how he would end each day. Hardwick would consume quite a standard NFL player diet, but then he would eat a carton of ice cream to round out his meal for the day. He made sure to be clear and informed everyone that he would consume a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream just before bed. It seems even NFL players have sweet tooths. Speaking of sweet tooths, it seems that the former Seattle Seahawks running back's celebratory treat is enjoyed by a bag of candy. According to sources, Marshawn Lynch treats himself to a pack of Skittles after each touchdown. His mother used to give him Skittles before every game when he was in high school, and this custom has continued in the NFL. I don't think it would be possible for an NFL player to eat more than 9,000 calories a day, but it seems that isn't the case with David Carter. David Carter has claimed that he had to consume more than 10,000 calories every day to maintain his more than 300-pound body. What makes this even more remarkable is the claim that Carter accomplished that while strictly adhering to a vegan diet, being forced to eat alone all day determinedly. I knew people were being inspired by the Brady diet. I never thought an NFL superstar would take the same route as him. Dwight Freeney seems to take a liking to the healthy scientific diet of Tom Brady, instead of eating anything that comes in front of him. He's acknowledged that he had once been on such a rigorous diet that the only liquids he could consume were grapefruit juice and water. He would then give himself the occasional special treat, which was just, wait for it, tea. On the polar opposite, however, is Chad Johnson, with his diet being so bizarre that people still debate whether he's telling the truth. The superstar has admitted to his fascination with the fast food chain McDonald's, and has always mentioned them whenever asked about his diet. He's even gone as far to say that McDonald's has helped him avoid injury. Whether any of these peculiar diets are true or not, I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. For now, that's it for me today. See you guys in the next video.